Hi there, this is Lena with Especially Made for Me. I'm going to be doing a swag today, and I wanted to get one more thing in for summer. And I was thinking ocean and beach and all of those wonderful things by the sea. So we're going to be doing a swag, and I have this nice sign here, and it says, I left my heart by the ocean. So we're going to be basing our theme on the sign, our ribbons matching the signs, and all of that wonderful good stuff. And I'm going to show you, I've already done the base, what we call the base, which is the form, the swag form, wreath form, and whatever we're going to be using as our filler to get us started for the base part. We normally would add more either ribbons or embellishments and different things to that, but we're going to be adding some more mesh. So I wanted to just have this already started to save us some time. And I just used the poof method, just going all the way around the swag. And I'm using actually a metal frame. But you can use also like a yardstick and just do some staples with the chenille stems to kind of stagger them around and use the same method, and then do the same thing that I'm going to be doing next. So in case you don't have one of those wreath forms, you could use a yardstick. But we're going to actually work a little bit, if I can say, backwards today, because I want to put my sign on first. Reason for that is because I don't want to use more mesh than what I have to for what we're going to be working on. So that's another way that you can save a little bit on your mesh, or if you're using remnant mesh and you only have so much and you want to try and use as many as possible but still be able to cover everything. If you put your sign on first or your bow first, then you don't have to put extra mesh in those areas. So that's just one tip that we're going to be using today. So I want my sign to be on the side of the wreath form. So, like so. So I'm going to actually attach it before we do anything else. I already have the mesh cut and ribbons pretty much all cut and all of that. So we'll do that. But I want to also show you what I use for attaching my signs. I mostly use wire, and this is a what they call a beading wire. It's 26 gauge, and they come like in little, just like ribbons, I guess, like a little scheme. So I'm going to change the view of the camera like I usually do, so that we can have our bird's eye view, so you can see the actual table and all the supplies, and then I'll just be off to a corner of the screen so that you can see everything I have on the table, and we can get started on the project, and we'll just go with the flow. So thank you so much for being here. We're gonna just work on this swag. You could already see I have some of the ribbons cut here and on the other side, and we have some mesh of different colors matching our sign, but I wanted to have that sand color already worked in. So this is where this jute mesh comes in. And I also have some jute ribbon. My accent just kicked in. And I think we may work that in, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I have it out just in case we might need it. But first thing first, we're going to go ahead and add our sign. So I'm going to move the mouse out of the way. Let me put it over to this side instead. Okay, and then we just got to decide where specifically we want our sign. So I completely forgot to make more holes. I only have 2 holes on the top. So let's see. I don't know if my metal one will work for this wooden one, but we'll try it. And if not, we'll just make sure we do the top. Yay, and it works. Okay. I can get it back out of there. So this is what I use to make holes on my metal signs that I make for my shop, and it's working pretty well for this wooden sign. And we just need a very tiny hole. Let me see, if I turn it over you might be able to see it better. It's very tiny because the wire that we're using will fit perfectly through there, and because of the color you really won't be able to see it, which is what I like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. Don't need much. Just make it long enough to where you would rather, it would be better to have extra than to not have it long enough. So, and then we just pull that towards the back to attach our sign. Oops, just lost my end. There it goes. Trying not to cut myself. Don't usually cut it quite this way. I want to make sure that you can see it on the camera. Okay, there we go. That's more comfortable. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this back up. I like this little plastic thing that it comes with. It kind of just keeps everything in place so it won't roll out. Okay. So we have our 4 pieces. So main thing would be, where do we want it? And then if we want to put ribbons to the side of it, it would be good to reposition the stems. Or if you want to put some mesh to the side of it, so that way you'll still be able to reach it and do what we need to do. But for these others on the side, we may not necessarily need it on the side unless you want to. It's based on what you're using. And if you're going to be using remnants, of course, then you got to pre-count what you're going to need based on how many placements you're going to have for it. Or if you want to just completely cover, you could do that as well. Excuse me. So I am going to tuck these back this way and make these come out. Maybe that might be better. We can do it on the outside. And not be too concerned with mesh on the inner side. Okay, so let me move this more into focus here. Do we want it more towards the middle, more around the top or side? Kind of want it centered, but to the side, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put it back here. Okay, so to attach it, make sure that you can see me here. Do I need to zoom in a little more? It's just the swag is so big, I'm afraid you're not gonna get to see it in full view if I come any closer. But all I do is just put the wire through the hole. And then just make sure it's secure. I'm just twisting a little bit of it. And then the rest of it is what we will use to run it through to the back of the swag to secure it. Alrighty. While you're here, well, we're just getting the wire ready so we can secure our sign. If you haven't already done so, please do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you click on that bell, it also sends you notifications when we do uploads, as well as going live. When we can do that again, we've been having some issues. That's why I've been doing uploads lately, just to make sure that we still get some new content to you. So thank you for bearing with us while we get all the troubleshooting done and figure out what the technical issues are. Until then, I will continue to do uploads and maybe do some premieres so we can still chat while working on the project together. Okay, so once we find our placement again, we would just be running these wires to the back. And you can run them through the actual mesh, because the mesh has holes, so it's perfect. The idea is to go to where the wreath form is, or your swag form, and so on, so that we can then secure it right onto that metal, the actual frame. And you could pull right on through. Do the same with both. I'm going to do it with all four corners, all four sides. But we'll do the top first and then we'll do the bottom. You can kind of just feel for it or turn it over. And I think I might need to turn it over for this one because it keeps going around on me. Let's see. I was trying not to poke myself. I've done that plenty of times. Oh, and I just did it. Okay. There we go. Checking on the position just to make sure we don't have it too high nor too low. And I'm going to turn this over just so that you can see what I'll be doing. Hopefully. Okay, so you can barely see the wire. I'm holding it. You really can't see it. So that's why I like using that wire. Now you can secure each one separately, or you can do it this way. Where you can use each side and then just pull. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Now if you do that, it may be more noticeable on the back if anybody looks at the back of it. I'm gonna get this one out of the way. And what I like to do, now if you want to do it just a little bit faster, you could do it the other way. I am just running it right on over. Just kind of going back and forth through those bars, just to make sure it'll be nice and secure. And because the wire is thin enough but yet strong enough, you're able to just kind of go back and forth, almost like you have a piece of thread. Okay. Just for giggles, just for sake of time, I'm gonna just leave that. Normally, once I have it all nice and secure and tight, I would go ahead and cut it. But I don't want to take too much of your time. So I'm just going to make sure it's secure, and then I'll go back and make sure I tuck everything in and cut any excess. Again, just make sure that you already have it pulled snug enough to where your sign is not going to be flopping all over the place. Getting that out of the way so I won't get it confused with the other one. Okay. I cut my nails the other day, and I'm really kind of having some issues getting certain things done, believe it or not. They're already starting to grow though. Okay. Just gonna tuck that under, and hopefully it won't be in our way for the other. Let me move it over to this way instead, because we still have that bottom part, the bottom wires, and then I'll take care of this later. Okay, so now we have our top done, and now we get to do our bottom. Same way, we're just gonna find a way to put it through to the back, and then we're gonna pull through. And again, you could go right through the mesh, or if you want to find an opening in between the mesh, you could do that as well. The idea is just to get all the way to the back so that you'll be able to tie that wire onto your frame. And it keeps curling on me. There we go. Okay, looks like it's got a little bit cut here. Okay, gonna do the same thing and just turn it over. Pulling as snug as we possibly can. I'm going to be doing the same thing here. I'm just kind of going around the wreath form using the metal. I'm just giving it a nice tug just to make sure it's going to be snug. I like using the crossbars because it gives a little bit more support and easier to tie the wire in. And again, I'll leave it somewhat loose, unfinished I mean, so we won't take too much of your time just doing this part. Okay, now to the other side. I'm going to pull. everyone's doing well. Again, thank you for joining me today and for being so patient with our technical difficulties and not being able to go live. There we go. I'll cut those later. So now we have our sign nice and secure. It is not going anywhere. Okay, so now we can even recount to see how many, since we normally would cut our mesh and our ribbon based on the methods we're going to be using, so we'll know how many ribbons, how many cuts we're going to need of everything. Or we can go by ear. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like we have about 24. So I think I cut it right then. So we'll see. We'll go from there. If we need to cut some more, we'll cut some more. So, all right. So we're going to be doing, we just have the poof method here for our base. The next thing, I'm going to be doing some ruffles. And I actually have 4 pieces of this other mesh that I actually want to scatter throughout on the other side so we can have some of this blue. So, and then we're going to be doing the ruffles with the other colors and spreading it around. So, we're actually adding that on top on the other side. Our first will be the ruffles with our aqua teal color. Now I want to show you the ribbons too. This is our main ribbon, so it kind of brings all the colors together. All of the different shades of blue and some white. We also have this one. And I kind of made it purposely to kind of have the, like that weave going on. Like a basket weave. And then we have these that we're going to be using with these. So we'll try and put it all together. So we're going to be doing ruffles. That means we're going to be doing our roll on rolling. These are cut at 20 inches, by the way. So to do our ruffle, we're just going to place our hands on our mesh and our thumbs right in the middle. And we're just going to walk it and just scrunch it as we go. Pinching in the middle. So it kind of makes it look like a little, could be a butterfly or a flower depending on how you shape it. So I am going to start putting these in right on with our chenille stem. Right in the middle. And what I like to do, if you haven't seen any of my other tutorials when I do ruffles, I like to grab the ends and have them overlap. It gives the ruffles a more full look and it kind of rounds them up so they look more like a flower, I guess, just more rounded. And then I make sure that they behave and they are good neighbors, as I like to say. So they'll hold each other up. So we can play this by ear as we go, as we see the spaces. Again, if you've seen some of my tutorials from before, I kind of have an idea and I don't plan it out 100% because I like to change things up sometimes. I change my mind. It's like I have this idea and I start putting it together and then it's like, you know what, I think I like this better. So hopefully that doesn't bother you. It's just my creativity flowing. I tend to just let it do what it does and it always seems to work out. So I don't let it bother me. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. I like to give different ideas as I go. So this is what I meant with being neighbors. I want to make sure that when they're next to each other, they're not pushing each other down. They're not pinning each other down. So you just kind of lift as you go. We put these back over there. So we don't need them just yet. And we might not even use them. Who knows? Because I'm just cuckoo like that. Nothing wrong with being different. So if you're just joining us, we're doing a swag using the ocean, a summer swag using the ocean as our theme. So it could be a beach, ocean, if you're by the sea, on a boat. Just by the water. Again, just making these overlap so we can have that rounded look. Makes it a little bit more full and kind of shows off the ruffle better, in my opinion. And if any questions, I know this will be an uploaded video, do leave it on the comments. I do check comments periodically, so I could always answer your questions. Just may not be as timely since we're not live, but I will get to your questions. Okay, make sure they're being good neighbors. Looking so full already. Another thing you could add to this, and I didn't think of it until now, I don't think I have any of them close by, but you could add like a starfish, some shells. You could either hot glue them on, or if you get the ones that have the little holes on them, you could attach them with the wire. And I'm just going back and forth between the inner rim and the outer, just to make sure I fill it all the way up. With this being a big swag, just because of the spacing, that way I don't have to move it as much. At least not moving it back and forth as much. See, when we do the lift on each side to make sure it's not pinning the other side down, it makes those ruffles stand out more. You can really see the shape on the, like looking at from the top. If you let them kind of pin each other down, they get kind of flat. You can still see them, but the ruffles are not as defined. So that's why I do that. and you have them on each side and top and bottom, and you definitely have to make sure that you double check on all sides to keep them from pinning down. You want to make sure they're lifting up instead. Every time I use jute mesh, I feel like there's stuff flying around. I can kind of see them. It's like it wants to go to my nose. So, with this being a summer swag with an ocean or beach theme, I thought for our Spanish word of the day, maybe we can learn how to say beach in Spanish. So, where is my other stem? It's hiding somewhere. There we go. So to say beach in Spanish is playa. 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 That's beach in Spanish. So if you want to say let's go to the beach, vamos a la playa. There's even a song that says that in our vamos a la playa. Let's go to the beach. That song just came to my head when I said that. Don't mind me. The jute, excuse me. Okay, same thing here. Since we have one on the top, one on the side, we want to make sure that they hold each other up, not pin each other down. Still overlapping the ends to make it round, or more rounded. And then just lift on each one of those sides to make sure everything's standing up. Alrighty, I'm going to turn this over just so I can have more access to this side. So hopefully you can see it with looking at it from the top. With putting the sign on first, you don't have to be concerned with squishing the ruffles or any of your ribbons, or having to reposition the ribbons or anything like that to make sure that they're not stuck underneath your sign. So it helps with that. And then it'll also help because now you're not filling everything on this side with this other mesh. So it kind of saves you on that end as well. Another reason I like using the wreath form that I make, I actually make that wreath form myself, the swag form, It's because it makes them bigger. Just to give the variety, you know, like having the different sizes and the prices for when I do the vendor shows. Excuse me. So it gives it a more wider look, longer look, more fuller look. Okay, again, making sure they're not going to pin each other down. And just making sure our ends overlap to give it that rounded look, so it'll show off our ruffles. After doing that work, we want to make sure our ruffles really show, right? And we do it on both ends, both sides. And then also, by doing it this way, it looks like your sign is actually resting in, kind of like a little nest. Works the same way for when we do Easter things. We want the eggs and things to kind of fit, you know, be like they're resting in place, just like they would in a basket. Without having to then press anything down or having to get anything else out of the way. We're almost there. We can go on to the next step. Okay. What do we think? We're liking it thus far? Let me know. Give me thumbs up. That'll let me know. Don't even have to put a comment on if you don't want to, although I would love it. If you do both. Is there one hiding? Looks like I have a timid set of stems somewhere. Okay. you have one side that seems to be longer than the other when you overlap in the ends, that one would be a good one to have on top and have your shorter one on the bottom. I'm thinking, and I want to do all of those. Let's see. Getting kind of hot back here. Let's see, do we want to skip that one? Is there another one down here? That one does go down here. Decisions. Don't want to cover the sign. Actually works perfect. Again, same thing here. When you have them on either side, just make sure that you lift up on both sides so that they won't pin each other down. Fraying going on. Oops, missed one. Okay, so here comes another decision making. We can put, which is why I have some extras, some more of the teal aqua mesh on the side to kind of give it more of that blue and really make it look like the sign is in there, kind of like buried in the sea, if it makes sense. Or we can leave it as is. I think I'm gonna fill it in just to make it look bigger. I want it to look bigger. Don't want it to be a regular thin small swag. Want bigger? Why not? Let's go with bigger. Let's see, I already put that one in. Okay. All right, so this is what I'm talking about with the sign. See, the sign is up there, but we still have, even though they were covered from the top, when we hang it, you'll still be able to see the side. So that's what I'm talking about for coverage, so that it'll look the same all the way around. We're gonna put some more of these on the side, and then we're just gonna lift them just like we've been doing for the others. Overlap the ends. So it'll be rounded, and then just make sure that they are lifting, and that'll kind of cover there, so you can still see on the top that there's more of that without having to squish it. So doing the sign first, again, keeps you from squishing it and gives you the opportunity to place it to where you can still see it. But don't want those to fall. And I'm gonna lift it once I'm done putting these on there closer to the camera, so you can see. Make it seem like we're covering a lot of that base color, but the aqua one also has some of that jute weaved into it. Excuse me. So we still have some of that sand color, and we also have the other ribbon that we still have to cut that we'll be putting on. So it'll come back. Have no fear. Okay. I'm gonna tighten this one up a little bit more, just because we still gotta do the ribbons. So I want to make sure we'll have enough. Or we can undo the stem. Behave. Alright, so making sure we're lifted and not pinning down our neighbor. Okay. Oopsie. I think we just need 2 more and we'll be ready. Okay, so again, I'm just overlapping the ends of our ruffle. So that rounded look helps to define the ruffle a little bit more. Okay, so our very last piece is right up here. Make sure we have our stems. Okay. I thought I saw another hole somewhere. So I have an extra. Okay, so there it is thus far. So our next decision, we want to add these other blues and scatter them. Just gonna do that just so that we can kind of get an idea. Stay. Let's see. There we go. And again, just to kind of add some of that color, and then we can add the ribbons just to these four. Just trying to give you an idea of what it would look like. And then we could add our others everywhere else. We want to see what it looks like. Let's try that. So for that one, my plan is, instead of doing a ruffle, we're going to do a tight curl. So you could do it by hand, or you can use, kind of save the, but the mesh comes in, save a couple of those. Keep them handy, and that helps with making a, makes it a little bit easier for making your curl. You can also do it as a ruffle and just add it on top. Big decision is where to start, where to put it. So I'm just going to hold it in place for now. Still got to do the ribbons. Okay, so I'm just finding my middle so I know where to scrunch it. And we can go ahead and shape our ribbon to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to actually undo the stem and put those ribbons right on along with the curl, and then tighten it back up. And then another big decision, oh my goodness, which way do you want your ribbons to go? Do you want them one in one, like one up, one down? Change them out. You could also have them all one side, or have the white with the anchor going up and the other one's going down. Lots of decisions, huh? I tend to do the crisscross because that way you're spreading the colors more. But I've done it all the other ways as well. Okay. Let's do our other curl. And we can probably point it so it'll be kind of in the middle. We'll just start stagger. Stagger. See, my accent just kicked in again. Do we remember how to say beach in Spanish? Playa. Might get a quiz later. No. Just kidding. Gotta have some fun. Alrighty, so let's go with, I don't want to have it too close. The other one's going to be on the bottom. that dispersed enough? Looks like it would be. Okay, just holding it in place so it won't unravel on us. And getting some more ribbon. And if you're not putting on any other embellishments, you can definitely give the stems a couple of twists. Let's see. You can tuck them under or cut them. That's the wire. It's scraping on the bottom. Let's see. Kind of wanted to. I don't know what happened with that other stem. It sure looks like there should be some stems right there. They're hiding. I don't know where they went. I have to just put a set in there and just put this on that side. Looks like I just doubled it up or something. Let's see. I don't like the way that looks. Looks like we have a big space right there, and we do have one left. I must have miscounted somehow, or not. Oh, let's see. We'll fix it. Let's see. We'll cheat. Because in this case we can. Doesn't hurt anything. Okay. We can use the one we were missing. So much better. Alrighty. More better, more better. So, who is going to go to the playa in the next couple of days? I know I want to go. Now that the Blue Angels are not having their show, I may not be so packed. So I mentioned earlier you can tuck these in, the stems. You can cut them, and you could also add more embellishments right on top of it. You could do hot glue them, or you can use those vase fillers that I like to use. Or if you have some shells or starfish, lots you can do. Then for the curl, we just go in the same direction that it wants to curl on its own. We just want to make that curl a little bit tighter so it'll be smaller. Okay, let's see, we got the, so I'll make sure it's like the right spacing. I'm thinking it'll be right here. There we go. There we go. Okay, again, just holding it in place while we get our ribbons ready. I like this ribbon. Let's see, I don't know if you can see it's got like, it's not a lot like a whole bunch of glitter, but it's got those little sparkles on it. Makes me think of the stars, like at night, you know, you kind of look at the stars, and I don't know, just liked it. Alrighty, pulling nice and tight and giving it a couple of twists. Again, we can tuck under, or we can cut them. Okay, so there's that part of it. We could actually leave it as is if we want. Let's see, wondering if this one should be higher up. I'm gonna leave it. Okay, so now we have these other ribbons that have the same colors that we can spread around. Just another option. We can do it with some more of the jute, so we can bring some more of that sand color out. Do we see that? So that was my plan, and I wasn't sure about this one, so I think we have plenty of that color already. So let's cut some more of this other ribbon, and we'll spread some love. Some sand color. Okay. So we should be, let's see, I think we're cut up. I know with the first time we weren't able to go live, we were going to be doing the candy cane, which we've already uploaded. And I had mentioned about doing another summer theme item, which we're doing now. So the next decision would be Do we want to do the door hanger for Christmas, doing the Christmas in July? So we have one more Christmas item. And then do the Halloween item more closer to the end of the month, beginning of September. Or skip the other Christmas and go straight to Halloween and then do another patriotic item. Since Labor Day is coming. Don't know. So many decisions. We have to keep variety coming. Okay, so on these, I am not going to cut them because again, it's for the sand. So I'm not going to do the dovetailing. And since they are wider than the others, I'm going to put them on the bottom. But basically doing the same thing for the placement of the ribbons. And I'm going to put them in between here so we can kind of see how that's going to go. Oh, it's the jute, it's the jute. So we could even double up on it if we want more of that sand color per se. But I think it'll work just fine since the aqua mesh that we use, that aqua mesh one, it does have some of the jute as well weaved into it. So we could just scatter some of these around. So as not to add too much of the other blue and not too much of the sand either. And just kind of leave it as they go on there. And I use the 12-inch for cutting out the ribbons, just in case you're keeping up with the measurements of what's being cut. The ruffles, I cut the mesh at 20 inches. Ribbons I cut at 12 inches. Alrighty. Turn it a little bit just so that we can see where else we want to put some more. Because again, it does not have to be exact. We can skip one, do one, or we can do them all. Okay, if you're just joining us, we are doing a swag, a summer swag. We're just using a ocean slash beach theme. We did a poof method for our base with a jute mesh and we added some ruffles with our aqua mesh that also has some jute weaved into it. Excuse me. And now we're doing our ribbons. But before we did the ribbons, just so the curls and it reminded me, we added these curls with the other blue, so we can add a different shade of blue on with the mesh. And we added the anchor and navy blue ribbons to that bundle. And now we're just going back to all the other spaces and adding some jute ribbon. My accent just kicked in again, didn't it? And some more of our main ribbon that has all the different blues. Okay, I see you. Let's see if I can get to you. Let me make sure I cover it with the other ones first. There's one hiding down there, y'all. They keep hiding from me. It's like they don't want me to put ribbons on it. But I'm going to make sure I cover these that are more visible first. And then we'll go to those ones that are trying to hide. And we definitely want to make sure we get some on our sides here that we did some ruffles on. Oops. Because again, it'll be seen from the side as well. So we want to make sure that we dress our side. That sign is not moving. That's the way it should be. looks like we have 2 more. And if you notice, as I'm doing the ribbons, even though I'm doing that crisscross method, I am still making sure that if I had a blue one going up on the other side next to it, I have to have it going down on the next time. So that way they're still alternating. Okay. Thought I cut them all. Just dovetailing. Make sure that you can see that on the top view. Okay, so I'm just folding it in half and cutting diagonally towards the corners. It's like I have to empty out my trash can. It's about to overflow on me. I know with all the COVID things going on, it's kind of hard to plan some things. I was hoping things will calm and I could start doing classes, like live classes. And now it looks like the numbers are going back up. It's like, what is up with that? I think I only saw 3 more that needed that, so sorry I miscounted, y'all. I was trying to have mostly everything cut and prepped so we can save you some time. This also makes it interesting, don't it? So the more I look at it, the more I think it would be lovely if we had some like starfish or some shells to put on it. Probably even better, some starfish. But it's looking pretty good. If I might say so. Let's see. Are we missing any? Do we need any more? It's pretty full. Sure, I kind of holding it closer to the camera so you can see a more zoomed view. There's the one that we're missing. Okay. And there was one in the middle that was hiding. Right now it's not standing out. A little space, so maybe we won't need it. But we definitely have the ribbons. I could always do that off camera, so I won't keep you unnecessarily. Okay, move things out of the way so I can give you a better view of the swag. And then we can reconvene next time. Alrighty. Let's see. Oops. Okay, it's a little bit too big to get it on the camera view, so I might change the camera view and then just hold it the other way. So let's see, where's the mouse? Because I want to make sure you can see it completely. I have to put it over my head. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So here's our swag. Okay, and what I mentioned with the fullness, when you make your own frame, it kind of makes it easier. If you use the 3 yardstick, you can make it full, but not as full as this. Okay, and here's that other side. That's why I wanted to make sure we added ribbons to that, because the side pretty much covers that whole side. But that way someone looks at it from the side, if you have it on an outside door, for example, it's still, they can still see some of those ribbons. Let's see how full. Okay, so that is it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Took a little bit, I know it's a little bit of work, but I'd like having a variety on the swags, to not have just a regular small plain swag. Have something fuller, something different. Doesn't have to have the sign in the middle or the bow and different things. So I just like showing variety. I hope you like that too. Just like keeping things changing. Don't like the same stuff over and over again. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So until next time, please keep creating. If you do make some things that may have given you an idea from something that I've made, please do share it on social media and tag us. Just put the hashtag especially made for me all together, and I'll be able to see it and catch it. And until next time, we'll go ahead and do another tutorial. We'll probably do the fa la 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 to kind of keep on with the Christmas in July. This is the sign that I was thinking of using for that one, for that I just lost the word. Door hanger. So we might be doing that on the next tutorial, or we might do something for Halloween. I'm still undecided. Maybe do something with a skeleton, so I can do something out of my norm for definitely sure. So you take care, have fun, keep creating, stay safe, stay liquid. Bye bye.